Welcome to Go With Kyle Harbaugh.
Hello and welcome to Go With Kyle Harbaugh. By combining traditional business building methods with AI, Kyle helps law firms, financial advisors, and a variety of businesses thrive in a changing world to build personalized roadmaps to success. I am your host, Kevin Rosenquist, and today's episode is all about the role of technology in modern law offices and how Chief Go officers enhances efficiency. Kyle, welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great to be back.
Tell me, how has the rapid evolution of technology changed the landscape of law offices today?
Well, I mean, obviously AI is the biggest one, and we're going to talk about AI, but one of the ones that kind of AI eclipsed was automations. Like I'm a big fan of automations, and there's so many good ones. And so I think something that's been fairly recent and something that I really like. So for instance, there's CRMs now that can contact you through your law firm, through your site, your website, and put in their information. Hey, I want to call. And there's CRMs that will automatically email them or text them. There's all sorts of really neat automations out there that can help you draft documents. So, obviously AI does some really cool stuff, and I love AI too, but automations are also something that are very noteworthy in the, past 10 years or so.
Yeah. And I love automations too, because I mean, let's be honest, like there's a lot of menial tasks that go along with business, and man, some of these tools out there now, they can really take a lot of that stuff off your plate.
Yeah. And you can use things like Zapier to put things together that weren't automated to begin with, but right. You can make them that way.
Yeah, it's incredible. If you know how to use it, it really is helpful. What are some of the common misconceptions that you've seen law firms have about adopting technology and its role as far as efficiency goes? And how do you address these concerns?
Yeah, so I mean, one that I see is, especially with AI, they're like, oh, and if they're on the billable model, I get it to a certain extent. They go, oh man, this is gonna like not give us any work, and this is going to make it where there's not enough work, and that's just simply not true.
Sorry to interrupt, but like, are you saying like basically it'll make it so fast that they won't have enough many hours?
Yeah, correct.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to bill the hours to sustain the firm, and that could actually be true. You might need to look at a alternate billing structure, because if you are going to take, say, 10 hours to draft all the initial pleadings for a case, and now all of a sudden AI can do it in 1 hour, that's kind of problematic.
Yeah, it's nice from a time spent perspective, but not from a money perspective.
Right. So, I mean, you can now acquire more or take on more clients. You can take on more clients with those tools, but you definitely need to explore different billing methods. I'm really a big fan of flat fees. I think flat fees are great for a lot of different reasons. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's going to be very disruptive to certain things, to certain business models. If you're on a contingency fee, I don't see a big problem at all, and that's why I think personal injury and mass torts and things of that nature, they've adopted AI more readily than some of the other practice areas.
Do you see any sort of like, fear of technology at all? And sometimes with people, because I have known, lawyers fall into a category of a lot of people I've known where they're so focused on what they do, and their schooling was intense, and their whole life has been about this one thing. The other things around it are very like unknown and sometimes intimidating. Do you find that's the case a lot with people you work with?
Oh yeah, I do. Especially the older lawyers. I remember one lawyer that I used to work with, and he would type emails with one finger.
Hunt and peck.
Yeah. Really great guy, super smart, awesome litigator, not very good at writing emails. So, there is some hesitancy. One thing something that frequently comes up is people say, oh, well, didn't some lawyers get in trouble for using AI? Yeah, they did. They got sanctioned for it because they were very sloppy and they weren't doing their due diligence. They were just basically giving something to ChatGPT or some other system, and then they weren't even checking its work.
Yeah, I remember that. I heard about that. They didn't even double check it. They didn't even go through it. Yeah, amazing.
Like, you wouldn't do that for your law clerk. You wouldn't like go like, hey, ye law clerk, go draft me this motion and not check their work.
Right.
It's sloppy in my opinion. And so,
I mean, I don't even let, I mean, I'll reread an email if I have ChatGPT write it for me, much
yeah,
less something like a court proceed document for a
that's
proceeding
right.
or something. My goodness.
Yeah, I agree. And like the AI that we've developed, so I've built two AI systems with my partner from the ground up, and they're very, very accurate. The one is 97% accurate, the other one is 99.3% accurate. I still read every single page of those reports. And oftentimes, I'm not making any changes that are substantive. I might, change the wording of how something is said, but that's about it.
Hmm. Hmm. And honestly, what the ironic thing is that example you gave of the old timer with the hunt and peck typing, like that guy would thrive on AI helping him write emails and helping him write different things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. AI, you are really limited to your imagination.
Hmm.
Honestly, there's so many different applications. I know a lot about AI. Like I said, we've built two of them. We consult on AI for all sorts of different businesses, but I'm learning new things all the time. It's just such a field that has exploded.
There's a lot of businesses, law firms included, but all sorts of businesses where might have legacy systems. They have maybe outdated workflows. How do you help these firms? What strategies do you recommend for more of a seamless integration process?
What are the quick and easy wins? Like, what are the things that you can automate or that you don't have to, somebody else can do for you? That's stuff I always look at, whether we're delegating tasks to other employees or, we're setting up some kind of automation or some kind of AI system. It's really figuring out those repetitive tasks that nobody likes to do. If you can figure out those repetitive tasks that nobody likes to do, or figure out how to get them done quicker, I mean, your employees are going to be happier. You're going to be happier. Everybody's going to be in a better mood and serve the clients better, and they're going to be things are just going to go better in your firm.
Yeah, and as far as getting more technical with it, as
Mhm.
far as actually implementing some of these things, is there a lot of resistance? Are people comfortable with that? Because a lot of people, it's like an if it ain't broke kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I think that a lot of times people don't understand how powerful these tools can be. I understand that mentality. For instance, law firms have a hard time picking up the phone. Some people are better than others, but if you have you have an AI that is a receptionist for you, they don't get sick. They're never in a bad mood. They're always on, and they're able to work after hours and bring in new clients and schedule appointments and things of that nature. So there's so many different opportunities to use AI, and because like I said, there's so many ways, so many applications, it can get kind of confusing and overwhelming what actually makes sense.
Communication is another thing that technology has impacted quite a bit. There's a lot of platforms out there. There's a lot of different things going on. How do you advise law firms to leverage technology to improve the collaboration amongst attorneys, staff, and maybe even clients?
So internally, I love Slack.
Hmm.
Slack is a great system. It's something that I use constantly. You can put in photos, documents. You can send things back and forth. It keeps the quality the same. It's free, or if you get a paid version, it's inexpensive. I really like it for the built-in voice transcription. So oftentimes, if I have an idea, I'll speak it right into my Slack as a DM to myself, and then I'll have that transcription. I'll copy paste it, and I'll use it for the thing I wanted to the email I wanted to write, or the idea that I had that I wanted to get out onto a piece of paper.
That's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. I might steal that one because I've
Go
used
ahead.
Slack. I don't use it a ton, but that's a really good idea for that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it kind of keeps it all in one place too. I imagine.
Exactly. It keeps it in one place. Now, like if you have the free version, it keeps it around for 90 days. So you
Mhm.
go back to it, within 90 days. But I usually get it the same day. And yeah, that's a really, really good tool for outside. It depends on what they want to do. So if they're interfacing with external clients, there could be a few different options. I don't want to do any third-party advertising for anybody, but if you want to explore different things, I would be more than happy to explore different applications that you could use. I'm aware of a few.
Yeah, there's a lot of tools out there. I think there's even some specific ones for law firms too that you
Yes.
can use, yeah, to help with that process. Looking ahead, what kind of emerging technologies do you see having the greatest potential to enhance the efficiency of law offices?
Artificial general intelligence is going to be extremely disruptive. I'm not sure when that's actually going to happen, but
The timeline seems to depend on who you're listening to.
right. But now that we have AI able to code AI, it's accelerating that timeline a lot. I would say we probably see it on the early side in 2 years. It might be longer, it might be 5, 6 years, but I think we're going to see it relatively soon. And that's going to be extremely, extremely disruptive. And so, in the meantime, there's all sorts of really cool tools being built. And I think that somebody in the firm needs to stay abreast of those improvements and play around with it. Our clients are using it, and nobody else has any kind of applications like the ones that we're using. And so and I know there's other outliers out there like that. So it's a big topic, but I think it's something you need to stay up on.
And for anyone listening who doesn't know, AGI, or artificial general intelligence, is more like what we see in the movies of the robots who really seem like they're human.
Correct.
Yeah. And you think it's going to be, that's interesting, because I've heard people that are very smart who say it's never going to happen. We could never achieve that. So it's interesting to me how many different, how people go one way or the other on the spectrum of that topic.
I know I've been in the room with some very significant players, and that is absolutely on the docket. They've actually been trying to achieve AGI for the last 10 years.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
It is. It's exciting, and we want to be in that conversation as well. We want to contribute to that, and we see that as really kind of the forefront. So it's something we're looking into.
Get the Terminator jokes ready. Finally, can you share a success story, maybe of a law firm that significantly increased its efficiency through the use of technology that you were able to help?
Absolutely. So one of my clients, they came to me and they wanted document automation software. So we looked at a few different vendors. We got some demos. Actually got to play around with 2 different systems and give some feedback about what I liked, what I didn't like. We ended up implementing one. I built them some documents with the custom fields so that they could streamline their process. I taught them how to build these documents so they could actually use the document automation software, and handed it off, and they're now way more efficient.
What lessons can other firms learn from this example, do you think?
I would say know the tools and know how to use them. I see a lot of people, they are afraid of AI, but they don't really understand it, or they don't understand how to use it or use it carefully. I like to think of AI as like a chainsaw. So a chainsaw, it'll save you a whole bunch of time. It'll help you not be sore. But if you don't know how to use a chainsaw, you could chop off your leg real fast, and that could be catastrophic. So you got to know how to use the tool. You got to know what it's capable of and how to use it or not use it.
That's a good example, the chainsaw example. I like that. And to your point too, I mean, there are a lot of people, and I think you can argue that it's, the way that it's, people talk about AI on social media or in the media or whatever, that people might be afraid of it. I mean, I even know friends of mine that aren't that much older than me, and they're like so terrified of it and saying Terminator type things and all this stuff. And it's like, have you ever used it? Well, no. Well, maybe try it,
Yeah, I think AI is here to supercharge us,
Yeah.
not to replace us. I think we're going to be able to get more done and have a higher quality of life. And I want to know how to use these tools.
Me too. Yeah.
I would say embrace it. If you're not embracing it, you are going to get passed by the people who do.
And you and me, I've been in the marketing world for a long time too. And when AI first came out, it was like, oh, well, marketing teams are gone. Like it was this whole thing of it's going to replace millions of jobs and all that. And now we realize, okay, it's not going to do that. However, if you are in certain industries and you refuse to learn it, you might end up losing your job because you're kind of behind, to your point.
I'm a big fan of human in the loop type systems where where somebody's still at the helm, they're checking the work, but they're able to get way more done. And I think humans are going to shift into more of a quality control role than what they were previously doing.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it, the quality control side of things. For anyone listening who is terrified of AI or intimidated or anything like that, how do you recommend them to get started if they want to dip their toes in, or at least like just feel it out? ChatGPT or Gemini?
I'm a big fan of ChatGPT. I mean, they're the biggest. They're in my opinion the best. Yeah, there's some other ones, Claude, Grok. Here I am giving third-party advertisement.
These are things everybody knows.
But there's plenty of good systems. If you really want to if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, you can get into stuff that Olama has put out and start looking at having your own system. I know one guy who's built a whole system to run his house. And things of that nature. I that's not me. I don't want that in my house. But I love AI for. I'll just tell you a quick story. In my business, we were doing everything by hand, the business analysis by hand. It was a very heavy lift. It would take a long time. Yeah, now we've been able to shrink that down to just 3 hours. So our process has gone down to 3 hours. All we have to do is spend about an hour, maybe two with the owner, and we can get all the data that we need to give them way more information than we were currently going to, and provide them more value quicker. So that sounds like a win-win to me, because I don't have to do as much work and they get more high quality services from it.
I mean, I'm at a point where I don't know how I'd live without it. I mean, the fact I've used it to improve my own workflow and work and life. It's just, I don't know what I'd do without it. I jokingly refer to ChatGPT as my mistress to my wife.
I don't go that far. My wife wouldn't like that.
Well, the fact she's like, well, she's my mistress too. So, because she uses it plenty as well.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Go With Kyle Harbaugh. To connect with Kyle and his team, visit chiefgoofficers.com, and please like and subscribe to our channel and leave us a review if you get a chance. Kyle, really interesting stuff. Really enjoy the conversation. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.